Join discord.gg/flatearth and enter a check-in room. Someone will come along and verify you to get involved in the conversation about our Earth.
That is fraud. Disingenuousness.
A compilation, though, if the sum of its parts equal the whole,
Well, yeah, we're just skating past something. I think you're whistling past this. You said, "Is there any whistleblowers?" And I'm saying, as a pun intended, you're whistling past the grave, man. Because there is all the people in here. What do you think we're doing?
Once again,
whistleblower generally has inside exposure to it, not just.
What do you think we're doing? Inside information. What information?
Yeah, but you weren't part of the project, so you're not counted as a whistleblower. That's the definition of a whistleblower.
But if we're being real, if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a good judge or an investigator, how much value are you putting on the testimony of just some quote unquote whistleblower over evidence? Say,
correct.
Yeah, I just presented to you is based on evidence, not just because it came from him. Or
plus you're validating
tens of thousands of people.
Hang on a second. You're validating what a whistleblower is based on your understanding of somebody being in the inside. Well, check this out, right? I'm gonna blow your mind. Everybody in this room was on the inside of the thought process of the Earth is a globe. So we were all inside that. All of us, every single one, even you, who are denying the fact that we're telling you that we've all been inside. We've all been a part of it.
He's talking about whistleblowers in regards to orchestrating this fraud. That's a bit of a stretch, man.
Well, no, it's not a stretch. Think about it, because when you tell your neighbor that the Earth is a globe, you're not lying about it, but you're a part of it, right?
Never. Let's talk about it in the context of what he said, because now you're pivoting.
I get what you're saying, but you would call that person a kook anyway.
Reasonable people.
Yeah. I think we should go back to talking.
I think that
you guys don't actually value.
You're being unreasonable.
So, what he meant by whistleblower.
No,
I think he was referring to.
This is what they call moving the goalpost. So now you're going to try to formulate it in a way where it's so super hyper-specific where it doesn't involve anybody.
Yeah, but you're changing the definition of whistleblower because now what KFC was asking for doesn't fit your definition. So
we know what he meant. It's just that you don't value that type of thing anyway.
No, you don't get to tell me what I value in an argument. So anyway, so what he was asking
I'm just
was,
saying,
why
in general.
So
in
just
general,
a question. Let's talk about the. Let's go back to the question.
Okay, I'll give you a whistleblower. I'll give you a whistleblower right freaking now, Holmes. You ready? Okay, first you got Matt Boyland, also known as Math Powerland, right? He's a NASA artist who was commissioned to fake planets, okay? He's one of the initiators of the spread of the resurgence in the flat Earth concepts on the internet and around the world, because he went on a comedy tour after he realized that the Earth was flat, right? And basically started just having a comedy routine about NASA, telling everyone what he did as an artist, and the people that came to him one day in a party, and one of the dudes there basically told him, drew him a picture on a napkin. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" He's like, "Dude, that's the Earth." Then he had an epiphany, and he went out and then basically told on NASA. Now you got another astronaut, right, from the Russian space program. He said, "We've never been to space because we can't. Also, I assure you the Earth is flat." Right? And the list goes on. But that doesn't matter, because homeboy saying the Earth is flat and being an astronaut isn't evidence. It's an anecdote, because it's not sworn testimony, right? So it's not even testimony. It's an anecdote. It's a story. Without evidence, his story is meaningless. Okay, so the evidence that the Himawari 8 is not an actual image that's taken live of the Earth in totality is way more important than just some schmuck saying, "Hey, I'm from NASA and I say the Earth is flat."
Do you go by AI or AI ardent?
AI is sufficient to get the point across.
This person who's an astronaut who says you can't even go to space? What is he then if he can't go to space but he's an astronaut?
Okay, so now we're going to discredit the person who's an astronaut.
Oh my goodness, dude.
You guys are quick to dismiss anybody that you claim to be a whistleblower, and you're specific definition.
Wait. Can I?
It's not
Does
our
anyone-
definition. It's the
Moving the
definition
goalpost.
of
This is
whistleblower.
called moving the
Hold
goalpost, and you're going to do
Wait.
it to keep suiting your needs in this conversation, so that we can keep spinning our wheels, trying to redefine or follow your moving the goalpost, right? Until we get to a specific thing that doesn't, like, we're going to talk about somebody who definitely doesn't say that the earth.
I'll give
is
you
flat.
another one, friend. I'll give you another one.
We're just going to keep doing this until infinity, until you.
Yes, I'll give you another one.
Satisfy you.
I'll give you another one. Okay, since you don't seem to understand the concept of time, where a person could be one thing and then eventually realize something, still maintain the title. So, Gus Grissom. Gus Grissom said, we can't go to the moon. We can't even communicate between towers on Earth. How in the heck are we going to communicate on the moon? Right? He cast aspersions on the moon mission, right? And then when he went to the capsule, he got blown up. Right? So he was an astronaut. His title was an astronaut, yet he was saying that what they do couldn't be done. Same with the other astronaut from Russia. He was an astronaut, right? All the way up, believing that the Earth was a globe, believing you could go to other planets, until he got to a point where he was in deep enough that he realized, wait a minute, this is bologna sandwich. And then he said to other people, you know what, dudes, this is a pile of crap.
Wait, does anyone hear that phone ringing? Because pretty sure I just called it. Because I just said that even if we did present this personal testimony from these so-called whistleblowers, you wouldn't value such a thing anyway.
Yeah.
That's why Biggie just got upset. So I do get to say that because I called it.
Yeah, it's evident by this conversation that you're not going to accept the information, because you're just going to keep moving the goalpost to whatever suits your needs in this conversation to make it sound like you know what you're talking about.
So getting back to the initial question, KFC, what was it you said? Any whistleblowers?
We'll just answer that.
Yeah. So I gave you multiple instances of famous whistleblowers. Okay. So that point is past. There's no longer about whistleblowers. It's irrelevant. What matters now is the evidence. So if you want to talk about whistleblowers, you can go.
The thing is, any evidence provided, you guys, it's very easy just to say, oh, look, this evidence isn't acceptable to us. And that tends to be what I see happening here.
How is that a rebuttal?
Like, for example, any photos you provide, we provide, for example, the 1972 photo edition.
Why are you just immediately jumping to excuses for? Can we just start? We just finished the whistleblower thing. Do you have an actual point or something? Or
that was never my argument. I was clarifying.
Hold on, friend. Hold on.
Oh, am I allowed a chance?
No, friend.
You didn't present any evidence that we discarded.
Bro. I gave you specific, elucidated reasons why those images are thrown out. I didn't dismiss them out of hand. So if you're trying to characterize that evidence will just be thrown out rather than scrutinized and thrown out on the merits, then you're barking up the wrong tree, bro. If you present legitimate evidence that passes muster, it'll be accepted.
Well, can you repeat? I missed the bit about Apollo 17 then. Sorry. Can you repeat that?
You're plugging your ears like a petulant child and going, nah, I can't hear you. That's what you're doing whenever we present something. And it's really becoming redundant.
Apologies. Apollo 17, what was it? I missed it.
Okay.
I don't think he actually...
The one that they took en route to the moon, right? That's
going to call that now.
Pardon? Sorry? Someone was talking over you.
Yeah, the one en route that they took, right, in the capsule. Okay, there's a documentary about it called The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, where it demonstrates some extra footage that seems to indicate that they faked the image. Not only that, but the image itself, you can't even tell what they're looking at. Right?
So it seems to indicate or proves? Because it's two different things.
It doesn't matter. The point is this. It's not conclusive proof that it's an image of the Earth, right? There's no proof within the video itself that that's an actual true image of the Earth, and there is evidence that it might not be. So there's no reason for me to believe and make the conclusion that it necessarily is an image of the Earth, unless I trust NASA with a faith-based zeal. And I don't, because I know that government agencies have agendas. I've been in some government agencies. I've seen the agendas.
Right. So what is the image then?
What is the image that they're presenting and saying it's the Earth?
Yes.
Oh, and that one, I believe it is a image out a window. It might be out of an airplane, out the side of an airplane, and they used a black thing, but I can't remember if it's from that one or a different one.
So do you know, or?
No, I just told you, dude, that I don't remember exactly.
So you don't know?
He's using my line of questions to come at you with empirically.
I called
it's
it as well.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
I scrutinized this information in the past.
Care about
The documentary and the information still stands. Me not being able to recall which one is which off the top of my head, because I've seen about 1,000 by now, it doesn't change the facts.
So we don't know?
What? And the funny
No,
thing,
you don't know. I do know. I know that it's not
What is
the
it?
Earth
So you
in
do know that it's not
totality,
the Earth.
like they claim.
Can you provide me the evidence, or?
Yeah, he been shellacked by the 3 questions, so he's trying to use my line of questioning to you, AI. So
What's your line of questioning?
oh, I haven't
Apollo
talked to
17.
you yet. I haven't talked to you yet.
Yeah, well, let's
What are
keep in
you
mind. Let's
talking
keep in
about?
mind,
We haven't
friends.
talked at all.
Let's keep in mind, friends. This isn't how it works, by the way. If an organization puts out, this is an image of the Earth, right? They have to provide the evidence that verifies that to be true. You don't just have to believe it or provide counterproof. That's not how it works.
Yes.
So me poking holes in their story is just bonus. They don't have a verified story. That's the point in the first instance.
Also, see
Right,
burden of proof
so-
reversal fallacy.
Yes, fallacy. Anyway, going on.
I didn't. What the hell,
What?
man? He's literally not even listening. I didn't call you out on any
Listen,
fallacies.
Look,
I
hold
said
on.
before you get into it,
Irrelevant.
holy
Irrelevant. Pay attention, friends. I'll teach you all something. Burden of proof reversal fallacy has nothing to do with the conclusion. Therefore, the fallacy cannot be in play, because the fallacy has to do with, if you make a fallacy, doesn't necessarily mean that your conclusion is false. Since there is no conclusion at play, there cannot possibly, in principle, be a fallacy enacted. So this kid don't know what the heck he's talking about.
No, cool. He just hit a
my
random button
understanding
that had
was
that
that
buzzword.
CB was calling me out on committing a logical fallacy and therefore invalidating my argument.
Well, dude,
So
you got to
that's what he
clean
was
the
doing.
earwax.
That's not what he said, dude.
You got to
And
clean
look,
the
he was
earwax
not
out of your
attempting
If
to
that's the
invalidate
case,
your
I
argument.
apologize.
Alright, fair.
CB, I was wrong. I apologize.
You're forgiven. You're
I
forgiven.
misunderstood you. I didn't realize you weren't talking about
I
me.
don't
My
believe you.
apologies.
Just clean the earwax out of your ears or your brain.
That's very hostile. But anyway, go on. So moving back to what we were talking about, the whole premise of dismissing any of our evidence is that we can't provide, valid proof. Yet you're saying you're able to dismiss something without providing valid proof. Is that correct?
He just explained why it doesn't work that way.
Why doesn't it work that way?
Do you need another? You got to clean that earwax out, bro. He's
stating that part of the foundation of his
Yeah, I understand your
We
principle.
just explained it's called burden of proof.
You don't have.
We just explained how burden of proof works. So I just
So
explained.
you're conceding there may be a chance that it's real.
That's not how it works.
Can I ask you, AI? Sorry, I'm talking to AI here. AI, are you conceding there is a chance that
You're not being genuine, bro? You're not being genuine. You're not even listening.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance that the pictures of Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster are real. You're correct, because I don't have explicit counterproof. See how ridiculous this claim is?
But what I'm getting at here is a deeper meaning that it works both ways.
No,
it doesn't. That's the problem. If somebody makes a positive claim in the first instance, it behooves them to prove it, not the other person to disprove it. Ad infinitum in perpetuity.
right.
But again,
we're also talking about a hypothetical at the moment, so you can't take this little hypothetical and then paint it broad brush over the entire Earth. Oh,
sorry, talking to AI.
But this is a panel here, sir. You're not just going to moderate me.
Okay, well, I'll get back to you. I can't do two people at once.
But I'm just explaining. I'm answering your question.
Right,
so if you're genuinely here, then I'm trying to answer your question. If you really want an answer, you were begging AI for an answer, and you didn't care about the answer. It's the type of behavior I don't like.
Talking about burden of proof, right? So why is it that the Globers are the ones making a claim, but flat earthers aren't making a claim?
Because let's look at
who made the original claim.
the claim on the table is that the Earth is a specific size, doing a very specific thing in a very specific location. And if you haven't heard about that, Miggy can take you through the 3 points.
Right. Oh, 3 points. Again, we'll get onto it later because we'll try and stick on one topic at a time.
That would be the answer to your question. That would be the answer to your question if you're really here for an answer.
Originally, the common belief was that the Earth was flat, right? That was the initial
that's
belief.
the observation.
Okay, sorry, the observation.
Correct.
Now, let's hold on a second there because we got to parse this out.
Yep.
Officially and generally, all camps agree that the Earth is experienced as a flat, stationary plane. That's what it looks like. That's how it's experienced. Beyond that, then comes explanations of why that phenomenal world that we experience is then not that base experience. And globe arguments use rhetoric within them, an argumentation that removes that. So, for example, something like, well, the Earth looks flat because it's so big, conceding that it looks flat in the first instance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever disputed that from our perspective.
Okay, perfect.
On the ground,
so you answered your question of why the globe is the positive claim. Because it's not comporting with direct experience.
That's correct, but we've had further direct experience that supports that it's a globe.
Like what?
Well, the hundreds of people have been into space for starters.
Let's find out. Let's find out, shall we, Rick Deeze? Like, let's not be too hasty right now. Let's actually work this out in a way that we can formulate it and find out whether your baseline knowledge for the Earth being a globe is or is not a blind belief, shall we?
Okay, well, I'm sure you've done this hundreds of times. You've got it to find
thousands.
Yeah.
So, but basically, if you're somebody who can support the claim that I'm about to talk about, which is the 3 main claims of the Earth being a globe, because I don't know if you advocate from a position of knowledge or just a blind belief. So we're going to find out.
Sure.
All right. So the first question right now would be, who has directly measured the curvature of the Earth any time in history with drop over distance?
I assume you're not going to accept the Bedford level experiment?
Right. So the question that I asked you was very specific. With drop over distance.
Was it Alfred Wallace?
I can't listen. So I'm basically not going to be able to help you because all I'm doing here is getting your baseline knowledge of what you know of who's directly measured the curvature of the Earth with drop over distance.
Alfred Wallace.
Okay, so go ahead and produce. If you have somebody in mind, that's the primary source, right? Alfred Wallace. So let's get into the citation, cite him somewhere, and also let's see the method by which he measured drop over distance. If it's not drop over distance, I'm going to dismiss it. If it's not what I'm asking for. Specifically, it's drop over distance that I'm requesting.
Sorry, are these questions that you haven't answered to, or do you not know when you're asking me to?
I'm asking because this is specific. The geometric consequent of the Earth being an oblate spheroid would lead us.
Okay, so the question was who
hang on a second. So can I finish? You're interrupting me. You're not letting me finish, right? So you want the answer. I'm telling you what I'm asking for. So specifically, the geometric consequence for drop over distance would be that the Earth is an oblate spheroid, telling us that with that, we have geometric principles, right? Properties. So with that, we're going to have to find out who's actually measured drop over distance anytime in history so that we can examine that person, the primary source, that we're going to go move into citation and then followed by a demonstration of the method. So go ahead, very specific to what I just asked for. Who's done that in history?
Alfred Wallace.
Okay. Now produce the citation that Alfred Wallace measured drop over distance so we can examine it.
I'm going to Google it if that's what you want.
As long as it supports what he's saying about measuring drop over distance.
Okay, what would you like?
What I asked for. Show me a citation where Alfred Wallace is measuring drop over distance.
Okay. So I'm being completely upfront. I've just Googled Alfred Wallace Wikipedia article, and there is 228 citations here. Do you want them all?
The one that shows us that he measured drop over distance. That's the only one I'm interested in.
Dude, that might have been the most painful thing I listened to all week.
This is in the chat, by the way, so I'm linking you in the chat.
Dude, does he have the permissions to post a link? Yeah, he does.
Okay. So I just want to make this story while he's doing that. One time we asked some dude for evidence of a claim that Sniper's account for Coriolis, right? What he did was he went to Google, searched Sniper's Coriolis, got the top 5 search results to pop down, screenshotted it, and sent us the screenshot. Didn't even watch the videos, just screenshotted 5 videos and said, there you go, there's the proof.
All right, so my line of
I'm
questioning
just
was then,
literally going off the citations in Wikipedia.
Yeah, you're going off the citation. Now tell us where in this information is what I requested. Because it's your evidence you're presenting. It's not mine. I'm not going to go on a wild goose chase. You're going to have to directly guide me to where the specific information I'm requesting is at. Where do I find drop over distance?
Well, first I've got to give you all 228 links.
I don't
I'm just
need
doing
that.
them one by one. No, because it's all there. It's all there.
Okay,
so and then
you don't know what's there.
So you don't know what's there.
Together.
You don't know what's there.
I feel like the goalposts have been moved slightly here. You asked me first what it was.
It's not moved slightly. I'm asking Rick Deeze. I'm asking for very specific information that you did not give me. So
very large topics. I'm going to go through.
No, it's not. You need to stop, man.
Very broad topic.
Rick,
right, so
you need to stop. No,
so
stop.
my answer,
you're not
was
going to
wrong.
continue.
Or?
You're not. No, you need to specifically, like I asked for.
Okay.
Give me
Stop getting emotional.
Give me the citation for where Alfred Wallace has given us drop over distance measurement. That's what I'm asking for. And you've gave me a website that's leading us nowhere. We're not going to go on a wild goose chase like you'd like. Give me the information I requested or say I don't know. Specifically.
The citations one by one. So not all of it is directly related to it, but it's all very relevant.
I'm asking. No, it's not.
You haven't provided a citation.
Stop. Everybody stop, please, for goodness sakes. The link that you gave me, bro, takes me to citations that are in the article thread. For example, a Darwin book. You understand that these are citations to the content in the article about Wallace on Wikipedia, not necessarily citations or references about what Wallace did. Okay, friend? Please take a minute and compose yourself before you further embarrass yourself. I'm literally about to commit seppuku to my ears if I have to listen to any more of this retardation.
You're frustrating the panel, Rick Deeze. Give us the information we requested. Measurement of drop over distance. Do you have it or not?
Gone into, well, now I need you to explain it all to me. So the question was?
He didn't know he was muted.
Oh my God. Wait, so what is the question? I'm so sorry. I don't speak English.
The question you asked me was...
You don't know how to control yourself, do you? All right, so what we're asking for, once again, for the audience's sake, because they're going to commit seppuku. So what we need right now is for you to present drop over distance measurements. Anybody in history, you presented us with Alfred Wallace. Now you're giving us a big ass PDF citation, whatever it is you're shooting at us. It's garbage. It's not what I requested. I requested specifically drop over distance, a method by which somebody has done that. You presented Alfred Wallace. Now where in this large gobbledygook of information is that information I'm requesting? Specifically, where is it?
Am I allowed to talk yet?
I'm asking for something you're not presenting. Where is that information, Rick Deeze?
Sure. Well, I haven't gone through it all yet. So, I said,
okay,
I'm going to link you all to it, and then we'll go through it together.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you. I haven't gone through it all yet. Signifies to me that you don't have it. And it's just that simple. But you need to be intellectually honest that you don't have it. Because we're not going to go on a wild goose chase right now with you to find something. You have it or you do not.
You asked me who measures drop over distance. Was my answer incorrect?
No. Yes, because you didn't give me that what I requested.
Okay, so Alfred Wallace was incorrect. Cool. What's the correct answer?
Where is the drop?
Oh, I don't know. I'm being intellectually honest. I don't know. So what's the correct answer?
Wow.
So that is important. So let's move on to the next question because you don't.
Wait. Sorry. Going back to the first one. So it's wrong. You have the answer, right?
No, this is not.
Educate
Listen,
me.
this isn't a back and listen. Stop. This isn't a back and forth. This is only your baseline knowledge of what you know for the 3 fundamental questions that I'm going to ask you. The first one has already been sufficient for me. You don't know. So
right, but I need to know your
base. On board. It's no. This isn't a back and forth. I've already told you that, Rick Deeze. Why don't you understand? This isn't a back and forth.
It's a status report. We're just going to ask you a couple questions, buddy.
Right.
Just don't kick and scream. It's going to be okay.
Just highlighting the absurdity of this process.
It'll be done. It'll be done shortly. It'll be okay. It's painless. It won't hurt you.
All right. Second question. Axial rotation, the spin of the Earth. They tell us that the Earth is spinning at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. So same as the first, we're requesting who has directly measured this axial rotation or the Earth's spin anytime in history, the person or people who've done it, and by what means have they done it? Show us the method. Do you have this? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, third question. The Earth is said to reside within the vacuum of space. According to mainstream rhetoric, they're telling us that on the surface of the Earth, we understand, we know some very basic principles. We're breathing air pressure at around 14 psi, which is 14 pounds per square inch. And they said that as you go higher in elevation, there's a pressure gradient that reduces all the way up until you get to probably the top of the atmos, which then occurs to where you find this dividing line, which is considered the Kármán line. So beyond that is considered low Earth orbit and so on. So the vacuum of space is actually a low pressure gradient, right? As far as what they're telling us. So what we're understanding in this idea that we have a pressure differential from a high pressure system where we're at on the Earth to a low pressure of the vacuum of space, we're understanding that matter and energy can transfer in and out of this open system that we have with the Earth being a globe. The Earth being a globe gives us this understanding, right? It's an open system. Rockets can leave, satellites can do so as well, and so on and so forth. So with all the intent and purpose of the Earth being a globe, we know that we have an open system. So now we're going to get into the understanding that with this pressure differential, if that is the case with this high pressure we have on Earth, that the air that we have here would escape into the available space, because every instance of gas pressure, it shows us that we have to have a container. So a contained system is the antecedent for the pressure. Let's say like if you have a tire, you have to put air in it and then it gets pressurized inside that tire. So we know it holds pressure, right? So in order for you to have pressure in the first instance, you need to have a container. It's the necessary antecedent. So the follow-up question, which is the most pertinent one, is how do we have gas pressure without a container?
Well, you said it yourself, the pressure gradient. Air gets thinner as you get higher, so the oxygen level doesn't decrease. You described it as though the oxygen we breathe is just on the other side of an invisible barrier to space. But in reality, the oxygen we breathe is only viable to a certain level where it drops off slowly and slowly till eventually there is none left.
Okay,
that's
so
the claim.
Same as the first two. I'm gonna need basically this can't come from Rick Deeze, the internet expert. We're gonna have to go to who's actually stated this, primary source, citation, and then a demonstration. Because what we're discovering right now is we have to find out how this gas pressure is being contained. And so with your answer, whatever it is, it needs to be supported by a primary source, a citation, and demonstration. Because I'm assuming that you haven't been to said location, right? Outer space. You haven't been to the vacuum of space. So go ahead and cite us a source to support what your answer would be.
Primary source. Isn't that what citation. Pascal proved?
Pascal? No. I'm talking about.
Why is Pascal?
No, I'm talking about the vacuum of space. I'm not talking about just pressure differential. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where they're telling us the vacuum of space is.
Sorry, can you do me a favor? Can you write down your question in the chat so I can track it a bit easier? Because I feel like you just changed it again. Can you just write down the question?
I'll say it this way. Once again, I'll repeat it. It's very simple.
We'll just write it.
How can we have gas
just clear the earwax out of your brain, bro?
Well, I mean, just write the question down so
you answered it with the claim, so you understand what the claim is. Now we're asking you for a demonstration, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you follow? Are you tracking?
Okay.
I feel like he asked me who proved the pressure gradient, and now he's saying no, who proved the vacuum. So just write down.
All right. So you're not going to tell us what we're telling you. Listen, Rick Deeze, how can we have gas pressure without a container? And so if anybody's ever said that in history, right, it was the same as the first two questions. They all were questions followed up by your ability to produce the information for primary source, citation, and demonstration. So it's the same question. You just have to support it. That's what I'm asking for. The support of the question. Pretty simple. Now it's back to you.
All right. So what was the question?
How can we have gas pressure without a container?
Pressure gradient.
Yeah, I know that's your answer. Now support it.
You asked me who measured it, right? That was how I support it. I said Pascal.
The pressure gradient. Now, the citation is, what was the citation for what I just asked for?
You'll probably be able to keep track of it easier if you just write the question down.
Bro,
No.
you just stated the claim. I already said this. Look, you stated the claim twice now. The gradient.
All right.
Yes, we all know that's the claim. Now we're asking for a demonstration of that claim.
What form would you like that demonstration to take?
That's been the question from the jump. So,
okay. So define what you mean by
hang on. I'm going to stop you, Rick Deeze. Gas pressure without a container. Do you hear me now? Repeat what I just said. Repeat what I said.
Ridiculous. I know what you said.
What did I say?
Then stop pretending to be confused then.
Right.
No, I'm not confused. I just think this is absurd because every time I answer, he changes the question and gets angry.
Stop you.
No, the question's been the same. It's always been the same. So
it's simple. Just produce the information that I asked for. Gas pressure without a container. That's what I'm asking for.
That's you just named something.
Stop squirming, dude.
The question is, how does gas pressure exist without a container? Is probably the right way to phrase that question, right?
Well,
am I correct? Perfect. So as I was saying,
produce it.
Yep. So the information you asked for was, how does gas pressure exist without a container? And I said it exists due to a pressure gradient,
not just a
which
claim.
was measured by Blaise Pascal.
Okay, so you said that he showed us how we can have gas pressure without a container.
He laid the foundation for it, yes.
For gas pressure without a container, show me citation where he said exactly the words that were coming out of my mouth.
Okay. See, that is the ridiculous part of this.
No,
right?
It's not. No, it's not.
Because he hasn't phrased it the way you want it, in a way that you can understand.
What do you mean? So he can't show us. So he can't show us that gas pressure can be uncontained.
He did so by proving that there is a pressure gradient.
Rick, here's what you're not understanding, bro. Look,
there's a fall. He proved that there's a fall in barometric pressure as you increase with altitude.
Is that what I'm asking for?
Yes, that is what you're asking for.
No, it's not.
That explains that.
Sorry, Rick. The claim is in the question. So we know what the claim is. Now you have to show it or demonstrate it. Just pointing back at someone who agrees with the claim or, here's the claim again. That's not what we're asking, dude. You have to show the claim actually happening. The demonstration, perhaps.
You're unmuted. We're not going to wait forever either.
So again, you asked me how.
Well, we already covered this, so we just need a demonstration now.
Right. So you want me to find someone who has physically demonstrated. Right. The whole premise of their experiment was your claim, right?
Or you can say, I don't know.
My claim? No, it's not my claim. It's the claim that the Earth is uncontained from the vacuum of space. That is the claim, not my claim. Don't switch this around till it's being my claim. It's not my claim. It's the claim that the Earth is uncontained from the vacuum of space.
Which you've stated twice, Rick. You've stated twice.
And this claim was based on an observation made by Pascal. So he didn't set out with the hypothesis that gas can exist without a container. Gas pressure can exist without a container.
Okay, so you admitted that he didn't do that. He didn't discover that you can have uncontained gas pressure.
I literally just said he didn't set out with that hypothesis. Can you please listen?
That's not what I'm asking for.
What he did was
I don't care what he did. I don't care what he did. I don't care what he did. Rick Deeze, I don't care what he did.
Take this conversation in a slightly different direction.
It's not what I'm asking for. You didn't present what I'm asking for.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I got you.
Can I maybe take this direction in a slightly different direction? I don't know who the Aussie fella is that we're talking. What's his name?
Rick.
Yeah, Rick. Can we have a gas pressure gradient inside a container?
I don't know. Possibly.
Yes, you can. So how is then having a gradient proof of no container?
Well, it's not proof of no container. It's proof that it can exist without a container, which is your question.
No. The question is can
okay,
you
can this is the issue. Can you write down the question? Can Mayhem write down the question?
Dude, I've come in actually very, very calmly. I know that this has been a bit of a heated conversation, but just respond to me in kind, please, right? So the question is not is that possible, but is that actually true? Right? So again, if you've got a gradient in the atmosphere, that could be happening either within a container or not within a container.
Well, yeah. If there's a container.
Sorry, Crypto, did you want to finish? Or
did he clip me, or I don't know what's happening?
I wasn't sure if you were finished there or not. He's just on a roll. So.
Oh, is he roboting?
All right, well,
no, he's just interrupting you. That's all. Like,
yeah.
He's talking straight through you when you start, so we have to mute him.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I don't really know why that's necessary, like for him to just do that. Yes, so it sounds to me like his argument is that you can have a gradient either within a container or not within a container, right? So that's a very poor argument for the globe existing without a container. Just on its face, it doesn't even address what's real or not. It just the logic isn't even sound yet. You haven't even got to a logical argument yet. So, Rick, do you want to go again?
Yeah, sorry, what was the question?
Oh, wow. This is like the 8th time we're going to tell you, man. That's not even possible for you to be that small-minded.
But I'm
That's
asking
cool.
you,
I just keep getting distracted by the multiple people, so it's easier for me.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Oh, dude,
no, you're not. He was the only one speaking to you.
I'm the only stiff upper lip guy here, right? So just as soon as you hear, some posh boy from England, then just that's all you need to focus on, right? So we've got this scenario, right, where you've said to us that it sounds to me anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, it must be a globe because of gas pressure gradient, and the gas pressure gradient proves that there's no container.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so what's your position?
I was answering the question of how can gas pressure exist without a container.
Didn't ask that. Ask what your position was.
On what?
On this subject.
He's lost. Crypto.
The gas pressure existing without a container, my position is that it can exist without a container.
Okay. So let's just accept that that's true, even though I don't agree, right?
Okay.
So you've got this gradient, and that can also be possible within a container, right?
Again, I don't know, but you said it can be, so I'll take your word for it.
Okay, so then at that point you're at a logical dead end, because you're saying, even if I accept what you say to be true, which I don't, but let's just say I do, you can have a gradient in a container and you can have a gradient outside of a container, right?
Yep.
So then where do you go from there? How does that prove that you're on a globe in the middle of literal nothing?
How does it disprove it?
Okay, so the proof is what's required, right? So you got a burden of proof there.
Right. So the question was, how can gas pressure exist without a container, correct?
Yeah.
Well, we were going to go on to that, but I want you
to that's turning into
follow. I want you to follow logical steps, bro, because you're not being logical. Is he just being quiet now? Or?
No, I'm waiting for you.
Well, okay. I
follow logical steps. What would you like me to do?
Follow logical steps. Okay, so we've got a gradient. That doesn't mean, as far as you have said that you're aware, that doesn't mean that it's either contained or not contained. Now, the issue with saying that there's no, because there's other ways of doing this, and I'm not going to try and give you your own answers, right? But the issue with saying that we can have a gradient and there's no containment for that, is that then the gradient would have to be existing in a certain way, right? So the gradient would have to be a certain density out into, I don't know, let's just say 100 million miles out, and then the air density would be a different density, right? But then that gradient would have but that gradient would have to be consistent across that that whole distance, wouldn't it? And
in terms of it have to drop off at the exact same rate across the entire distance.
yeah, exactly. So the problem is
Does it not?
No. No, because there would be virtually no gas on Earth.
I don't understand. Why would there be no gas on Earth?
Because you're talking about a finite volume of air across virtually infinite distance, infinite volume.
Well, no, it's just in relation to the proximity of Earth and the Earth's gravitational pull.
But now you're bringing in another fantasy to back up your first fantasy that you haven't actually established.
What's the fantasy?
Gravity.
Gravity's a fantasy.
Yeah,
Yes.
hang on. This isn't. I'm sorry, Crypto, but I don't want to mean this to be a back and forth with the 3 questions. This is just supposed to be his baseline knowledge. If he doesn't know, he needs to admit that he doesn't know. And then
Gone through the 3 questions yet? Oh, sorry, Biggie.
yeah, I was on the third one. So
yeah, go on then.
I was the third one. So
just to wrap up, and then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
All right, just to wrap up, and then I'll shut up. The problem with the globe model, and you'll learn this if you actually are honest, is that all of the concepts are like corpses leaning on each other. Like none of them are actually good concepts, but you'll find that they'll have a concept that's died, and then it just leans on another concept that's died. And this is a perfect example of that. Gas pressure without a container because gravity, but you haven't established either of them.
But you think gravity is like you don't believe in gravity? Like that's
yeah.
legit?
No, hang on, Rick. No. This isn't a back and forth. I just said that. Not a back and forth. This is a baseline knowledge. Hang on a second. Can I finish? This is a baseline knowledge for your understanding of what the globe is with these 3 questions. So with that, I'm just going to pause you for a moment. If you can hold your tongue, that'd be great because I'm going to play a clip that's about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'd like us to listen to it and for you to listen to George Porter speak about gas pressure. Just hold your tongue. If you start talking through it, I'm going to have to pause you, restart the thing over again. So please don't talk through it. It's only 1 minute. Here we go.
Now let us look at some examples of spontaneous changes and see how they are accounted for in terms of the second law of thermodynamics. We'll take the simplest first and look at changes where only the entropy changes. Now, one, perhaps the simplest of all, of these, is the expansion of a gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these bulbs some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy. So without the entropy concept, that would have been difficult to understand and difficult to account for.
That's it?
Yep. All good.
Did you understand or did you hear what he said?
I understood about probably 50% of it.
You understood about 50% of it?
Yeah.
What about what he said didn't make any sense to you, Rick Deeze?
There's a visual in the chat at 54 minutes past the hour. There's a GIF there that's explaining and showing, demonstrating.
Yeah.
Since we like demonstrations around here, is demonstrating what he was saying.
He might not be able to actually listen to it at the same time when watching it at the same time. It's difficult, it seems, right now. 50%, that's what it seems like.
Sorry, can we play it again? I'll happily listen to it again.
I'll be happy. Yeah, happy to.
Oh my God, dude.
Happy to. We can do it one more time. I don't mind. Just give me a moment.
Yeah.
Do you know where the chat is? Can you see the visual there?
All right. I'm about
Is that just the video of what he just played? Should I just listen to that?
Yeah, it's a part of the video, but you can. It's a gift that we have. It's just a gift that we have that shows what he's demonstrating. So I'm going to play the clip right now. Here he goes.
Now let us look at some examples of spontaneous changes and see how they are accounted for in terms of the second law of thermodynamics. We'll take the simplest first and look at changes where only the entropy changes. Now, one, perhaps the simplest of all of these, is the expansion of a gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these bulbs some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy. So without the entropy concept, that would have been difficult to understand and difficult to account for.
Okay.
There you go. Well, are we up to like maybe a 65%? What are we talking
still about
about?
50%.
50%. Okay. Holy
Oh, he must not have graduated high school.
Well, let's make sure. Let's. Can we get you to 100%? Is that possible? Just so everyone's on the same page, so you can't, ask us later.
Can you play it again for me?
No, we're not going to do that.
That's just twice. Twice is enough.
Tracking it.
Rick. Twice is enough.
Can you see the visual in the chat? That's what I want to know.
The 37-second visual.
There's a GIF, and then there's also a 37-second clip of what we just played. Yes,
it's got two bulbs, one filled with bromine and the other one with a vacuum. And so when he has the both chambers connected, the bromine rushes into the vacuum. And this is what he was talking about: the expansion of gas into a vacuum. What did he say? Nothing changes. There's no temperature change. There's no energy change. It's just entropy. Expansion of gas into a vacuum. That's it. So what I'm asking
Hold on,
for
sorry.
here,
Can I just have like 37 seconds of silence?
Dude, I know you're salty right now.
This asshole.
I know you're salty right now.
All right, we'll just
relax,
okay, go on.
okay?
Go on. All right,
Well,
so
yeah,
50%. What's next?
well, what's next is that either you concede that you don't know how it's possible to have gas pressure without a container, or we're going to stay on this point until you finally admit. But we're not going to move from here to another topic and go into a back and forth and you asking us questions, because that's not what this exercise is about. Either you know or you don't. That's all.
Right.
Right.
So if I say I know,
then you're
you
going to
won't
have to
accept
tell
it.
me, no, I will. But you have to give me a primary source citation and then followed by a demonstration. That's what I'm asking for.
Right. So when in terms of the demonstration you're asking for, if I give you someone else's work, you'll accept that as a demonstration.
Just as we demonstrated to you here with this clip. It's not.
Yes,
It's from
so
someone.
then-
It's a demonstration that anyone can do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
what
So
we're asking-
then if we go back to Pascal,
Oh my
you're not gonna
God.
accept his
Wait
experiment on-
wait a minute. Like just a second. Okay. Slow down. Don't just keep saying things. I'm asking specifically for what the question was about. Gas pressure without a container. Because we're showing you in this instance where he has a demonstration of two bulbs where bromine is in one and the vacuum is in another. He removes the barrier and then bromine rushes into the vacuum. That's just what it does. It's a change in entropy. That's it. Not in energy.
He doesn't prove that it can't exist without a container. He just showed behavior.
Correct. It's showing why you do need a container. Ding dong. Maybe you should pay attention a little bit further.
Where does
But
he
the
say
whole point
that?
is the whole point is that you need the container. But we're challenging you because you're saying you don't need one. So go ahead and show us how that's possible.
Right. And then when I started to explain
By a
based on
demonstration,
Pascal's
not an
barometric
explanation.
experiment.
Sorry, not an explanation of the claim, because we know what the claim is. You've already tried this twice. So I called you out. Pointing
So,
at the
right,
sky and pointing at the claim and saying, well, how about that? As a demonstration isn't cutting it. Sorry.
Yeah. Either Pascal.
I'm sorry, I don't understand you. Pascal's experiment wasn't valid?
Even Pascal.
What experiment? You said explanation 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, I was literally starting to talk about his experiments with barometric pressure and how he tested it with altitude.
So yeah, no. That's not you're not going to get into your spiel. We're going specifically to the claim that you can have gas pressure without a container. If he's demonstrating that, yeah, then post it. So we want to see how you can have gas pressure without a container, and if Pascal's doing that for you, then let's post it.
We just showed you in 37 seconds why you do need a container.
You do.
So surely there should be something out there that you can show.
So because Pascal doesn't explicitly state that you can have gas pressure without a
go ahead and
container.
get the demonstration. Just go ahead and get the demonstration.
That's what we're asking for, Rick. And if he doesn't show that, then yeah, it's not showing us that how you can have gas pressure without a container. That's correct. That means that then you don't have the evidence to support the claim that you can have gas pressure without a container. That's correct. So, what is it the next step that you should be doing? Either admitting that you don't know so we can finish the 3 questions, right?
Nah.
Okay.
I won't do that.
He's salty.
Again.
Then you know why? You know why you're not doing it? Because it's your pride now.
No, I just think this is getting a bit silly because, again,
it's not silly,
we're talking about an experiment which proved that there is
You haven't presented any experiment. First of all, you need a valid hypothesis, which you definitely don't have. So, calm down with your...
So Pascal didn't do it for us because it's not answering the question in which we can have gas pressure without a container. Therefore, how can you answer that question? Now I'm going to unmute you, Rick Deeze, because you haven't given us one and you're not able to produce at this moment. Now the only thing that's left is for you to concede. And we're going to see if you're able to do that. Because if you don't, that's going to show that you really don't. You're not in here for intellectual honesty. You're in here just to be, I'm right and you're wrong. And you don't have any evidence to support it, which we don't deal with that. If you're not intellectually honest and say, I don't know, you're going to be probably way worse than you were in the first state. Maybe not even in this intellectual forum. It's up to you. Concede or not. If you don't concede, I want you to produce the evidence. And if you do concede, then admit that you don't know. You got those choices, though. Because I will remove you from the server as being disingenuous. Many people have been removed for being that.
So, look, my understanding is...
Are you going to produce the information or not? That's all I want to hear from you.
Calm down. You don't need to get angry. It's all right.
No,
so
I
understand
the question. Stop jerking.
It doesn't fit with what you say no.
Stop jerking us around. Either produce it or not. That's the only place I'm at right now. Are you going to be able to produce the information as evidence or not? Yes or no? Answer.
I don't have what you want.
No, that's not the answer. You're either producing the information of evidence of the claim that you can have gas pressure without a container or not.
My answer remains the same.
No, you need to answer the question. I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and if you don't answer honestly, then you will be removed. You're being removed for being disingenuous, and not because you're not trying to produce information. I'm giving you that chance.
Well, just a reminder
for being disingenuous. I'm counting down from 10. It's up to you. 10, 9.
Remember who you're presenting
8,
to.
7.
There's also an audience.
6.
And a judge.
Yes, what? Yes, what?
Yes, I don't have it.
Okay, thank you.
So now that wasn't an honest answer, but that's what I'm giving you to move the conversation.
No. That's not acceptable. It needs to be honest. So now we're going to go from a place of honesty. You're either going to be honest in this forum or you're not going to be, and we don't need people who are disingenuous. So you're going to admit to us, you're going to be honest and say that you know or you don't know. Admit to everybody, because we're not going to spend our time talking to somebody disingenuous. That defeats the purpose of this forum.
Sure. Okay.
Same countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Come on, dude.
5, 4, 3.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Thank you.
At all.
Is this your honesty?
Yeah, very honest.
All right. So now I'm going to summarize. So I need you to be silent while I summarize. All right. So while I summarize, I'm going to show that Rick Deeze was a little bit resistant at first,
salty,
but we got him to see that there isn't any answers to these questions. First being the globe having direct measurement that it has curvature due to drop over distance. Also that the Earth is spinning in axial rotation, so it's not spinning in the vacuum of space. And all that being just a blind belief that Rick Deeze has, just like everybody else listening currently, is that it's just a blind belief that people have, some a bit more resistant than others, but eventually getting to the point that we have people admit intellectually that there isn't an answer to this honestly. So just looking within and seeing if we have these answers and examining that there isn't an answer, for the Earth being a globe in the vacuum of space spinning around. Thank you very much.
So do I get to ask questions, or?
I don't care at this point. You can ask anything you'd like.
Because I assume your ideology stands up to any and all criticism, seeing as it's absolutely correct, right?
Sure.
Or do you just mute people when they criticize?
Automatic straw man right out the gate.
Yeah. Anyway.
How is that a straw man?
It was a pretty loud squawk. Did you realize that you have only beliefs on that point what you have now?
Literally the entire basis of your entire ideology is that when you walk outside, the ground is flat.
No, you didn't even ask that. Now you're just going to start trying to pin the tail on the donkey.
Okay, honest question. You continuously say that flat is a description, but you say it's not a description of the shape. So what is the shape of the Earth?
We don't know.
You don't know.
Remember how earlier we talked about burden of proof and who's making claims?
If it's flat, then we don't know.
Look how it's easy to say.
He's
to
not
me,
here in good faith, guys.
and I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling to say I don't know, or like you.
He thinks flat is a shape. The dude's bricked.
He's not here in good faith either. He's gonna just ask questions and then you're gonna get baited into answering the question. He doesn't care about your answer.
But he can ask the good question. He can ask, okay, people, but why you people think that Earth is flat then?
He's not here for that.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
Go ahead, Crit.
Oh, okay. I'll say it's quite amazing when they seem like they've got some sort of inside track on knowledge, and they'll think that the Earth is a noun, and flat is also a noun, but not curved. Not the word curved. Somehow the word curves is an adjective. It's like, dude, you need to fix your shit before you even try to talk to other people, because your understanding of English is so badly broken that you can't even decipher nouns, verbs, and adjectives anymore.
I tell flat earthers to go back to school. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's like kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, he reminds me of dogs are gods. Remember that guy? That's what he's got, like a same demeanor as dogs are gods.
Just an arrogant smugness, like what did you do in your life that you think you can walk around like that? Like you think you're like you did 1 in a million shot? Are you like some millionaire crypto dude or something? Like where did you get off on that? And once you find out it's atheism, he thinks he's a god.
Yeah, so at the very beginning of when you came into the server, I'm pretty sure we gave you the questions in which we would give you direct answers to. This has moved on from that now, because now the exchange was, you've given us direct questions, we've given you direct questions. Now we're going to engage in a discussion about how we can go about looking at the Earth now that we both understand both of our sides. This isn't a continual inquisition of us. You have to scrutinize the fact that you don't know how the Earth is a globe. That should be sticking out like a sore thumb to you right now, Rick Deeze. And that's why it's most important for you to start to investigate, how do I know the Earth is a globe? I just finished stating with 3 questions that are fundamental for the globe Earth's existence that I don't know. So the next thing you should be talking about is, how is the Earth a damn globe? Not how is it flat? How is it a globe? You haven't even talked to us about that. I'm going to unmute you now. So the next line of questioning you should be actually asking right now, because you didn't have any evidence for it, is how is it a globe? Asking us how we know it's not.
You want me to ask you how it's a globe? That seems kind of counterintuitive considering you don't believe it's a globe.
Well, no, because you just finished stating that you don't know in the 3 questions that I asked you.
Right. And what does that prove?
That proves that you have no knowledge on the topic of the Earth being a globe. So when you come in here asking questions of how the Earth is flat, it's counterproductive for you understanding that it's not a globe. Do you understand now?
In order for me to know something, I have to personally prove it?
You have to actually come from a baseline knowledge of understanding how it is. You don't even have that. From the mainstream rhetoric, what's the Earth's radius?
Yeah.
What's the Earth's radius?
I know it in kilometers. It's about 6,500 kilometers.
Okay.
I don't use miles in my country.
What's the Earth's circumference?
40,000 kilometers.
All right. So you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah, high school.
Oh, high school. Okay. So how did they
diameter 12.7 thousand? No.
Thank you.
Yeah, 12.7 thousand.
That's the metrics of the Earth being a globe. That's great, right? We have that. So can somebody?
Why did you ask me then?
Because can somebody just make up those numbers, Rick Deeze?
Yes.
Can I just
make up any number?
Yeah. I'm talking about the public information that the Earth is a globe, Rick Deeze. Follow the line of questioning here. Can somebody just make that up?
Yes.
Okay.
You really believe that?
How could we test that claim of the size is true or not? How can we ascertain that? How can we know? They made a claim. The Earth's a certain size. How do we know it's that size or not?
Personally, I don't have the resources to do so. Are you asking theoretically how can we do it?
Well, I'm asking.
You just had 100. You just had 100 wiki sources like 30 minutes ago. Now you got nothing, huh? Oh, okay.
No, what I'm doing is clarifying the question. Does he want me to say how can we individually verify that, or as in what is the theory behind verifying that?
Right.
That
How is it possible that anyone's ever verified that information? Anyone in history?
Right. So again, you're not asking about the theoretical measurements that have applied. You're asking has someone actually gone with a giant ruler?
Oh, we have
around the Earth.
You said giant ruler you're making light of this, but you don't realize that there's metrics to the Earth, as in somebody did put a giant ruler to the Earth. Duh, they give us the metrics, so somebody's did that, right?
Yeah, where else do they get the numbers
Rick?
from, bro? You don't actually believe
Rick?
that people just poof those into existence.
Right?
Right. So you're saying it's only possible to measure the Earth by wrapping a ruler around it.
Where did it know, dude? What?
You said that, you dumbass. You just finished saying you want to put a big ruler to the Earth? Well,
that's what I'm asking you.
I'm
no
telling
one's
you.
done that.
Where else would the numbers have come from?
How did they get the
We've measured it? That's what I'm saying. We've measured it in other ways.
In other ways.
Which way?
So when you look at a basketball, and you tell me it's a sphere, it's got a radius, diameter, and circumference. You can actually test the geometric consequence of that sphere. You can test it. You can measure it, drop over distance, and all that kind of good stuff from it being a sphere. It's a basic geometric shape, and you can test it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Rick
and that's how we apply it.
Now, well, no, it's not, because when I tell you how can you measure that when it concerns the Earth being an oblate spheroid, which is a globe, and its sphericity, you're like, oh, you come up tits. Well, I don't know, man. Someone did it somewhere, somehow. Oh, what was the method? I don't know. We got ideas and things and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It works.
Rick Deeze. Mm-hmm. How do you measure the geometric consequence of the Earth being an oblate spheroid? Okay.
Well, rather than wrapping a giant ruler around the world, what they did was they measured the distance between 2 points. I think it was 2 cities in Africa. I don't know the names of 2 Africa, but I know they measured the. Well, okay, so it's funny that I don't know the 2 names of these African cities.
What did they do? What did they do?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So again, my understanding is that they measured the distance between 2 points, which happened to be 2 cities in Africa, and they were able to judge, I think, by the length of the day. It was on the winter solstice.
What does that have to do with the geometric consequence of the Earth being an oblate spheroid, Rick Deeze?
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Yeah,
I'm literally about 20% of the way into explaining something, and you've stopped me because it doesn't make any sense to you.
No, I'm asking because it's not dealing with the geometric consequence. You're dealing with the sun moving across the Earth. I don't care about that. I want to know how you know the Earth is curving at the set rate that it is due to drop over distance.
Well, that's how we know, but you don't agree with it.
No, that's not how we know.
That's not knowledge. You don't gain knowledge based off of that. Come on.
I just told you if I have a basketball and I want to know that if it's a sphere or if it's a cube or whatever other geometric shape I'm telling you, that it has its consequent of being that shape, meaning that it's going to have sphericity if it's a specific, like a globe, right? If it has a globe or it's an oblate spheroid, I can tell you that it is, versus a cube in my other hand. Like I can hold a box and I can tell you its geometric consequent of being a cube. right? So, but on this hand, I have a basketball, and I can tell you that its sphericity is measured with geometric principles, as it being such with the radius, diameter, circumference. That's pretty simple to me, and I'm able to measure drop over distance on that basketball. Now, why can't I do that with the Earth?
You don't have a ruler big enough.
A ruler big enough.
Bringing up this ruler thing. You already said there's other.
Why can't you apply the same principle with the Earth?
Listen. Because of the fact that when we talk about the basketball example, and you have you put your finger on the basketball. That's point A. You put your finger on another point of that basketball, it'll be point B. And it doesn't matter the distance. It only matters that you put it in a different location than the first position. When you have the distance to that, it becomes an arc. An arc. That arc has a principle for geometric consequence. That from point A and point B, you're going to have drop over distance. Do you understand the words
again,
that I am telling you?
You literally just almost explained the experiment that I was about to start explaining.
No, he didn't. I guarantee you.
I had gotten to the point where we'd taken 2 points, point A and point B, which is the same as two fingers on a basketball.
Is not what he just said. Guaranteed.
Right, okay.
Nope.
So the principle for measuring the basketball, you're saying it doesn't apply to Earth, and that we're wrong.
No, I'm telling you that it hasn't been done.
No,
I'm telling you it hasn't been done. And what the example that you were telling us, you're like, well, we see the sun moving. I don't give a damn about the sun moving across the Earth. I care about the ground and how we know that it's shaped like a freaking basketball.
Dude, think about it. You're measuring your basketball, right? The drop over distance, 2 points, and like someone's in the corner flipping the lights on and off. It's like that has nothing to do with what we're physically measuring. Come on.
Well, actually, you're getting the same information just through different methods.
No, you're
Again,
not.
they've had to use the sun rather than a ruler.
Oh my! I just explained why that's retarded.
So, what was the significance of the sun? Then? What do you think measuring the angle of the sun was about? Then, why do you think they did that?
Because they're trying to give you ideas that they live on a globe.
Okay, so do you know the answer or not?
Let me finish.
Yeah, we know.
So what was the significance of the sun?
Shit, dude, are you going to let me finish? Or are you just going to keep interrupting me? You want to hear my answer and you interrupt me.
Go ahead.
So they're gonna do something to give you the illusion that you live on a globe without measuring the geometric consequent of being on an oblate spheroid, as in drop over distance. So they're gonna avoid that by giving you misinformation and showing you angles to shadows, which is ridiculous, by the way, to tell you that you live on a geometric shape without showing you directly that drop over distance measurement that you need.
Okay. So what was their argument then? You don't have to say it's true, but what was their argument for using the sun?
Eratosthenes.
No,
same argument.
Yes, that's the person we're talking about. But what was the point of using the sun? What information did they resolve?
Two Africans, bro. Come on.
That's not the person. That's the story, man.
It's the
Answer the question, please.
It's the method.
There was some African guy, I think.
Listen,
That's
it's
what
the
you
method.
said.
African cities. Aristophanes wasn't African.
It's the method. It's the method by which they're using to produce the information of the
what
evidence.
Information were they trying to produce?
They're measuring shadow lengths of two different places
in order to determine what information.
They're trying to get the sphericity of the Earth with the calculation, not with the measurement. Like
just say if you don't know, just say you don't know because you don't.
We do know.
Explain the significance of the sun.
Dumbass.
To you.
No one has explained the significance of the sun.
You haven't even said it.
He's telling you.
No one has explained the significance of the sun yet.
Hold on.
He's telling
Rick.
you.
Hold on, Rick.
Is he not listening to me?
You don't have the high ground here, buddy. I could just kind of. You brought up two Africans or whatever, and I giggled because I knew you didn't know what you were talking about. Now Maisie's explaining it to you, and you're like, "Oh, so you can say you don't know." Relax. I know you just got that from maybe 30 minutes ago, but that's his swag. So,
bro, I'm literally telling him it's Eratosthenes all over again, just probably in a more modern version, but it's the same stupid method. It's the same thing. It's the same thing they were doing with Eratosthenes, just only people in Africa. That's it. There's no difference between us talking about Eratosthenes and this thing because it's the same method. Read upon this experiment, dude. I don't need to read nothing. It's the same thing. Eratosthenes was using assumptions of the geometric consequent. They're saying, starting off with the idea that the Earth is a globe, we're going to see if the Earth is a globe by checking out the shadows of the sun, which, of course, is the same thing that I was telling you, is not measuring the drop over distance.
Right. That's why you're asking, why do you think they looked at the sun? Because they're not measuring drop over distance. They're selling you a pipe dream, and you're believing it.
And he said that radius is 6,000 kilometers. That's correct. But Eratosthenes didn't come with that rate. Only to tell you.
It's pretty simple, dude. I got you guys lock, stock, and barrel, but you want to gish gallop and talk about other things. I'm like, dude, we've already discussed the fact that Eratosthenes and all these other guys that come in with their sticks and shadows and wells and whatever is not measuring drop over distance, which is the geometric consequent of being an oblate spheroid. And you're like, well, what do you got to do? Put a big old ruler? You make it sound redundant when you say that, because that's not what we're doing. And if you want to know the method, we'll tell you. Go ahead, Rick Deeze.
You done? All right. So firstly, you're confused because literally the experiment I was explaining at the beginning is Eratosthenes' experiment. He is the one who measured the distance between two cities in Africa. So you obviously haven't read too much into that. Otherwise, you would just explained that. I don't want to gish gallop.
Rick, what the hell are you talking about? Wait. You gotta clean the earwax out of your brain. We just explained that to you. Holy smokes.
You said that we don't know. We know it was 2,000 years ago. He was going straight for 500 miles, 2 points, shadows, assuming the globe in the first place. No radius rate from Eratosthenes. It was another guy, and he also used the sea level. Blah blah blah. Drop over distance. Do you know what is drop over distance? That's important.
Yeah, they don't have the answer to that.
He definitely doesn't know that.
Do you, Ricky, know what is drop over distance?
I have to mute him. All right. I wonder if he's got his heart right now, or if he's still going to ask the same. $5. He's going to ask the same question. What?
Yeah. Every sphere has drop over distance. You know. That means if you are somewhere, and there is a method. That's what you said. Radius 6,000 kilometers. That means if you're on the ground, you have the math, and then you now can calculate in which distance will be which drop. Do you understand that? That's a sphere. If you are on the top of the sphere, in a distance, that sphere will start to curve. Do you understand that?
I think now he's stonewalling you.
Explain the curve again.
Oh, there he is.
What is this? I don't understand.
If you go out on the beach, for example, because there is a sea level, you're standing there in a distance, 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, that drop will grow because you're on the sphere. On 1,000 miles, that curve will be bigger. On 2,000 miles, it will be bigger. Do you understand that?
Yeah, and that is a direct result of the Earth shape.
Yeah, that's great. But look at this example. When you go in reality, there is no such thing like a drop over distance.
Prove it.
Prove it. Okay.
It's not our no, it's not our. No, it's a burden of proof. Tasha, relax. Don't fall for the burden of proof reversal.
No, it's all right. But
yeah, but it's not all right.
He conceded. He don't know. He didn't have. I know.
But he's got to produce it. Then he's got to produce it, not you.
He don't have. He don't have 3 questions. He didn't answer. He don't have a proof of the globe.
Oh, there it is. There it is. No evidence.
Yes, I don't have 3 questions.
No, he doesn't have the answer.
You don't have 3 answers, but that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
you ain't got 3 answers.
Well, the problem is, I feel like no matter how many answers I have, you're going to say I have no answers because you don't want to.
In points of the 3 points, dude, you really don't like to listen. You've been kicking and screaming, salty as hell this whole time.
Yeah. You think that's the case, but you'd be surprised.
Why are you talking about your feels again?
You are still here, but you're not listening to the things people are saying. That's why we have to explain the same thing.
Bring up feelings, but you guys are
row. That's why you're just talking over the people. We've had to explain the same thing to you. Maybe 4, 5, 7 times. We told you Eratosthenes, and you're like, well, you see, there's this guy named Eratosthenes. After we already said his name and explained the method like 5 times, dude. You gotta pay attention.
So you're confused there because I was explaining Eratosthenes' experiment and you come in and go, well, that's the exact same thing that Eratosthenes did. It's like, yeah, that's what I was explaining.
No, we were... Ricky, you're really still trying to sell yourself on this, man.
Ricky, can you ask me the same question what Miggy asked you? Can you ask me the same questions?
I can't because I don't remember any of them.
It's who measured the curvature from ancient time till now. I don't know.
Who measured the curvature of the Earth?
I don't know. It's never nobody in my 6 years research. I didn't find anybody did that. Second question:
That's
Who
all I've
measured
got.
who measured the rotation of the Earth? In my 6 year of the research, I didn't find anyone to measure the rotation of the Earth. The
All
third
this tells
question.
me is you need to get better at research.
Okay,
No,
you
it's
were.
not a lack of research, buddy.
I was looking how you were researching today. I was researching 6 years, and all these people was researching even more than me or less than me. Doesn't matter the time.
The only thing we lack is belief, the faith that you have. It's not a lack of research. Trust me. It's the answers you are out there are not there.
The third question is the same. We cannot have the gas pressure without container because it's proven scientifically. And you said gas pressure gradient. You cannot have gas pressure gradient without container. You cannot have vacuum without container.
So the gas pressure container issue is another tricky one. So
it's not tricky.
Let's say the pressure gradient is wrong. Let's say I'm completely wrong, but you deny the existence of the vacuum in space as well.
Yeah,
that's what the whole thing. That's what the whole thing debunks.
All these gases will go away because of natural law. Natural law. Do you know
right,
what
so
is
if there's no
natural law?
vacuum, then why do we need a container?
We have
because
air pressure.
You have gas pressure. You cannot have gas pressure. You cannot breathe this air if you have no container.
But that's what I'm saying. If there's no vacuum outside to be shielded from, then why do we need a container?
That's just an extra idea that gets debunked, that gets demystified. You need the container for gas pressure
to keep it inside, but that's
it. That's it. That extra idea of, well, there's Narnia out there. That's just extra, bro. We can just detach that and let it go. Let that one fly free. We don't need it.
With there being a container, there's an inside, which implies that there's an outside. What's outside?
Not necessarily.
I don't know. Do you know?
What's outside of outer space?
Who knows?
Exactly.
Okay, so then why does there have to be an outside?
Your whole argument is that
added that
gas pressure can't exist without a container. Otherwise, it'd get sucked into the vacuum. Not sucked literally, but it would dissipate into a vacuum.
Oh no, that's just the claim on the table, as you pointed out. That's the claim.
Right.
So the claim is in the question. How is the claim possible? That's what we're basically asking.
With flat Earth, there is a container?
Of course.
Yeah.
What's the Earth in general?
We don't know.
It's made out of Rick Deeze's brain. How about
that? Good one, ad hom. So
how we can know?
Remember how you just Remember how you just pointed at the sky and said, "Well, there's a gradient." Would you accept if I just pointed at the sky and said there's a container?
No, see, I didn't do that. I tried to talk about how Pascal proved there's a gradient, but you wouldn't accept it.
But that's still pointing at the sky. But it doesn't matter because
using a barometer.
It's okay. Everyone does it. It's not just you. Don't worry. Even the most staunch globe earthers come in, and the best they can do when it comes to that third question is just point at the claim, which is the sky, and just say, "Well, that's my proof." Anyway, would you accept if I did that and said, "Well, container, sky"? You probably wouldn't accept that, would you?
Experiment, I would.
Okay, well, we just gave you the demonstration, and there is no other way. Remember the 37-second clip? Oh, sure.
That was a guy with two glass balls in his hand. What did that have to do with the sky?
That's the claim. That's what we're saying is that you have to have the containment or a container for gas pressure, and there's no other way to demonstrate it. You can't look at any. You can think of any other example. A car tire, for example. Hold on, Tosh. Even just a car tire, right? A bike tire, soda in a container. Every single any example you can think of requires a container. That's why we're asking you to give us something without one. You couldn't give us that because it doesn't exist. So for that same very reason, the gas pressure on Earth also requires a container. Period. Go ahead, Sasha.
Yeah, we are discussing does natural law is real or not.
And you believe it's not.
It's not.
I believe it is. You believe it's not.
At this stage, it's about demonstration versus lack of demonstration. I can demonstrate all day long gas pressure with a container. No one ever, not just you, not because people haven't researched hard enough, no one can demonstrate gas pressure without a container. So why in the hell would you go and base your baseline reality off of that belief? That's stupid. when you can physically demonstrate reality, second law of thermodynamics, we taught you what Sasha's talking about, entropy. You can demonstrate that all day long. So I'm going to stick with that over just some blind belief.
Wouldn't an example be air pressure being higher at sea level than it is on top of a mountain?
Well, that's still pointing at the sky and pointing at the claim. The claim is that the sky is open. You don't need a container. That's the claim, bro. So you can't just point at the claim and say, well, see, look, there it is.
Okay, so let's say physically...
Hold on, real quick. Just like I can't point at the sky and say, see, container. You wouldn't accept that. So you can't point at the sky and say, well, see, there, it's open. Look, see? It doesn't work that way.
So what I would recommend doing, take a barometer and start at sea level and take a hike.
You're just pointing back to the gradient.
Right.
Again, this is proof of
no, it's not.
Pressure existing without a container.
No, it's not.
So you're saying air pressure is exactly the same.
No. We already covered this. Hold on, wait, real quick. You can't just respawn on us like this, bro. We just went over this. The gradient is not in contention. We're not arguing that. Crypto or who's known as goes by a different name, Ronnie, right below you, explained how you can have a gradient in a container. You can't have a gradient without a container. Sasha told you that. So just pointing at the claim or the sky, which you guys say is open, it doesn't need a container. Hold on real quick. You can't just point at the sky and say, well, that is now my proof, which is your claim. So taking a barometer and going up and saying, see, look, there's a gradient. Now I have proof. That's just simply pointing at your claim and saying, well, see, look, proof. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. You have to demonstrate that claim, as we've demonstrated all with you, the 37-second clip. Here's the container. Here's the gas pressure. Here's what happens when you open the container, etc. Right? Gave you another example: car tire, bike tire, soda, etc. You would have to demonstrate the claim instead of just pointing at the claim itself and saying, well, that is my proof. So you want a
small-scale demonstration that's easier for you to understand. Any demonstration.
Anything other than pointing at the claim, which you can't do.
Right. So again, if gas pressure can't exist without a container, how is there a difference in pressure at certain altitudes?
Crypto,
should it all be the exact same pressure?
No, Crypto, you already asked that, and I already pre-answered that, and Crypto answered that. Ronnie below you.
Yeah, I actually directly answered that because I knew it was coming up.
And you just said, Sasha said that gradients can exist without a container, right?
No. You can't have the gradient without the container. We talk about delta and delta X. So the gas pressure gradient is an antecedent relationship from the gas pressure. Let me just give you a quick example, okay? I really like the analogy of a banana, okay? So say you come to me and say, I have this rare banana. It grew, it has no peel, never came from a peel, right? I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Can you show me that? Right? If you just show up to me and hand me slices of banana, it's not demonstrating the claim. So let's tie this back to the Earth. The Earth is claimed to be this rare banana, no peel, no container, right? You guys come to us and bring us the slices and say, hey, well, look, there's slices of the air, right? The banana inside will be the gas pressure of the air. You bring us the slices and say, well, see, look, that's proof. I don't need a peel. That's not actually proving that. I need to see it. I need to see that thing growing on the tree with no peel. Okay, you have to show the claim itself. Bringing me little slices of the atmosphere or little slices of the banana is not proving that it did not come from a peel or proving that gas pressure did not come from a container. I hope you understand that analogy.
Not really.
Okay. Well, you haven't been understanding very well.
That's right. You're explaining to me how you think I'm wrong, but doesn't really say anything.
Let me just. I'll say it real quick, Deeze.
Doesn't really apply.
The peel is the container.
Very good analogy,
right?
Yeah.
The peel is the container, right? Okay, are we good there? The peel of the banana would be the container of the Earth, essentially. Okay, does that make sense? Rick?
Yeah.
You still there?
Again.
Okay. Hold on. Let me. Don't understand. I'll explain. Hold on. Okay, so what's inside the peel is the banana itself, right? That would be the gas pressure. You following so far?
And then you have that brown part.
Hold on, Sasha. Hold on, dude.
Give that brown part.
Hold on. No, it's not the brown part. Hold on. So we've got the peel on the outside would be the container. the gas pressure on the inside is the banana part. Are we tracking so far, Rick?
Well, I mean, banana's a solid, not a gas. So
okay, but it's an analogy. Hold on, it's an analogy. Can we track along? Are you old enough to follow an analogy?
Yeah. Just what I'm saying, what I'm trying to highlight. If you read between lines, I
don't want to twist your arm here. I just want you to go through the analogy first, so that you understand what I'm asking, or understand what I'm saying. So far we've got the container and we've got the banana or the gas pressure on the inside. Are we good so far?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what the Earth is claimed to be is a banana with no peel, no container. The globe Earth. You look at the pictures from space, there's nothing containing the gas, right? So that's the claim. It's a rare banana, no peel. We good so far?
Yes.
Okay. So, if I ask you, you come to me and say, hey, bro, I have this rare banana. It never came from a peel. And I say, all right, I want to see that. Can you show me? And we meet up and you whip out a bag and you show me a bunch of banana slices. Is that proving that that banana came from no peel? Would you accept that as a friend? Rick, are we following so far?
Makes no
Hold on,
sense.
just answer the question.
That's a terrible analogy.
I know you don't like it. Just answer the question.
It's actually a genius. I really like it.
Yeah, I know it is. But I want you to. I know it's painful for you, Rick. But just answer the question, bro. This is very simple. Kids can understand.
Absolutely not.
And would you? So you would not accept. You would not accept the slices as proof, right? As a friend.
Yeah,
yes or no?
It's genius. No.
Okay, hold on.
Amazing.
Yeah, yes or no, Rick? Come on, dude. I know this is painful.
I said no. I said no 3 times now. Do you want?
You wouldn't accept. Okay. All right. So what you're doing now? So let's compare this to the Earth. So what you're doing is you're bringing us slices of the atmosphere, slices of the air, and you're saying, "Well, see, look, this is my proof for why you don't need a container." That's exactly what you're doing here. It's a perfect analogy. I know you don't like it, but that's just what it is. You guys cannot offer us slices just as a friend. You'd be like, dude, you're crazy. Obviously, those slices, that's not demonstrating what you're claiming. This rare banana came from no peel.
So are we talking about a banana coming from a peel or a banana having no peel?
We all know bananas come from peels. Okay, we all know bananas come from peel. We all know gas pressure requires a container, because that's anytime you want to demonstrate gas pressure. Yes, but every time you want to demonstrate gas pressure, you're going to have to involve some sort of container. Okay.
No, you don't.
Okay, well then go ahead and demonstrate to us an example of gas pressure without a container. Show us the banana without the peel, essentially. Go ahead. Because every banana that I know of has come from a peel. And you can't, unless you want to show me a tree growing with a bunch of bananas on it with no peel, that's the only way I'll accept that claim.
Well, what if I argue bananas don't exist?
We're no, that you're not just going to take us into absurdity.
Because the examples I'm giving you, you're saying gravity doesn't exist, which is absolutely bizarre.
No.
Okay,
and gravity is a key component.
Hold on, dude, stop.
Okay, cool. So, unfortunately, we all know that bananas exist. So, arguing that bananas don't exist is just wasting everyone's time, right? You understand why that's disrespectful, because that's wasting everyone's time and insulting our intelligence. When we're talking about gravity not existing, that doesn't mean dropping something, okay? So, you need to uncouple that in your head as well. Oh, I dropped something, therefore gravity exists. That's not the argument. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but just focus as well, too, dude. So
there we go.
You said you brought up a barometer. Now, what is a barometer?
All right, I don't know if you saw my chat in the chat, but new rule: anytime you mute me, I'll just deafen, so it goes both ways.
Okay, well then you can just. Yeah, well,
anytime
you've been sticking your fingers in your ears here as well.
Cool. So anyway, as we were saying,
right now,
one of the key components of my argument.
It's like right now, Rick.
Can I explain?
Like right now, Rick. No.
So
you're not just going to stick your fingers in your ears. You're not just going to stick your fingers in your ears. You're not going to moderate the room. You're a guest here. We've been treating you with respect to some degree. We'd like you to, meet us in kind. We just gave you an example. We're talking about gas pressure. You brought up a
Is your
barometer.
tangent finished, or?
And we're trying to. What is your point about the barometer?
So what do barometers do?
They're measuring. And what are they measuring? Gas pressure.
They're measuring barometric
And
pressure.
you're saying that barometers are irrelevant when it comes to a discussion about gas pressure.
I'm just asking, what is your point?
It's a red herring.
Why is it a red herring, Elijah?
Because there's no relation to the point that gas pressure requires container. And I don't want to take over the argument. I just wanted to make a simple statement.
But my argument is that gas pressure doesn't require a container.
We know that's the case.
Having the first after having been saying something for only 30 seconds and you're interrupting, bro, that's definitely not allowed.
After you interrupted me, but go on. I'm sorry for interrupting your interruption.
No, I didn't. You did. I'll mute you and replay the live, and then you won't be able to speak anymore because you're lying now.
So talking again.
So anyway, gravity doesn't affect the entropy of gases. True or false?
Go ahead, Rick.
Cool. All right. So as soon as I see that red mic disappear, I
question. All right, we're not going to do that. You answer the question.
What's the question?
Yeah, we're not going to play this game.
Gravity doesn't affect the entropy of gas. True or false?
True.
Eli, in a moment, can I take you to another room real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
So you say gravity exists?
Seeing is that gravity doesn't affect the entropy of gases, and your entire point is null and void.
So just to get back there, you're saying gravity exists?
Yeah, go ahead, CB. I made my point. He said true. There's nothing else to be said from me.
All right, I'm gonna move you to live stream 2.
Go ahead.
Cool. So now that we've admitted the existence of gravity, it actually does affect the entropy of gas.
Wait. Because you just told Elijah it didn't.
Yeah, I just was happy to see that he had admitted that gravity's real, so we can move forward from that point.
We definitely aren't going to do that here either. So, Miggy already gave you the preface earlier. This type of disingenuous stuff was going to get you removed from the server. So let's not do that.
I feel it's disingenuous to say that gravity doesn't exist, but then use it as the crux of your argument.
Notice how no one said that. Only you've been trying to pin that tail on the donkey.
Okay,
and so say that we're saying that. So that's only you have said that so far, Rick. Notice how you've not asked anyone, and we've already explained how. So you can't just say, well, because you guys said gravity, blah 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 blah. Notice how we didn't say that, bro. So you are the one being disingenuous.
Ricky, do you know what is gravity?
Definitely, no one said you would 100% say no one said gravity doesn't exist.
Ricky, do you know what is gravity?
Okay, so yes or no, gravity exists. Yeah.
All right, Rick, he's asking you a question.
Do you know, Ricky, what is? Yes. Okay. Do you know only yes or no?
Yes, everyone knows what gravity is.
Now my question will be a second one. I find very interesting in my research. I find out that most famous astrophysicists, when you ask them that question, like I ask you now, do you know what they are answering?
What do they say?
They say, "I don't know." Next question.
Who said that?
You said everyone knows. Have you asked everyone? Why would you speak for everyone?
It was a hyperbole, my friend. It's very common knowledge,
As Sasha pointed out, wait. As Sasha pointed out, even the so-called experts say they don't know.
Who says they don't know?
You're painting a broad brush. You're trying to speak for everyone. You're speaking in big terms. We don't do that around here either. So, this is what's going to happen, right? You got the same expert. Hold on, bro.
Can I say only four names?
The same experts you're going to put up on a pedestal, you're about to throw under the bus. Go ahead, Sasha.
Yeah, Michikaku, Brian Fox, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No. You're misunderstanding. So I've actually heard Neil deGrasse Tyson speaking about it. If you want to get absolutely technical,
do you want to hear when people asking Neil deGrasse Tyson, like I ask you, what is gravity, and he's saying like this? I don't know. Next question. He's saying,
I've already have a role for the type like you, Rick. I've called it global.
So what Neil deGrasse Tyson actually says.
Okay, real quick. Go ahead.
Can
With the
I
globe
say?
whisper. Well, yeah, I mean, you're
So-
about to just do a little
Can you-
globe whisper. I just want to preface before
Can
you
you
do that.
hear what he's saying?
Yeah.
Is
So
that-
the action.
just
Do
real
you want to
quick,
say the full quote, Sasha, or do you just want to pick and choose the parts that make you sound right? Do you want to say what the full quote of what he says?
Okay.
Well, why don't you go ahead, Rick? So why don't you
So
tell
he's
us
saying
what he
no
says?
one knows what gravity actually is in a fundamental way. We know the behavior, and that's what we describe when we're talking about gravity and how it's a force that exerts attraction between two masses.
Oh, really?
Is that better?
Okay.
Did you just add that last
And
part?
I guarantee you, Neil deGrasse Tyson knows that.
Okay, but does that work at every scale?
Pardon?
Oh, does that work at every scale?
Sorry, you cut out there.
Does that work? Does Newtonian gravity work at every scale?
I'm assuming it doesn't work at extremely small scales.
Or extremely large scales?
Extremely large
only
scale.
works on the. Yeah, it doesn't describe the movements of the planets in the universe. That's why they had to move to relativity.
Right. Okay. So you're saying that that precludes it from working in the atmosphere.
What?
It either works that way or it doesn't work that way. You don't get to pick and choose.
Why not?
That was the case.
Why can't different things behave differently?
Because it's the same thing everywhere. Apparently, it's the fundamental law of. What do you mean? Says who?
Are you saying they say it behaves the same everywhere, or are you saying that it behaves differently for different scales? Did they say both, or one?
You claim this was common knowledge, and everyone knows this.
Let me ask you a question, right? If you bought a dog and you took it home and it barked, and then you took it to the park and it started meowing, would you think that there was a fundamental difference in its behaviour?
Yes.
Okay, so then would you start to question whether it's really a dog?
No, I'd say it's a dog with some issues.
Oh my god!
Okay,
you don't
that was the only definition of a dog that it barks.
Oh my god! You have no idea about how to process analogies. The point is that if you've got a certain behaviour,
bad analogies.
No, you just don't.
First of all, actually, a good analogy. I don't understand. Secondly, you don't have to talk through me while I'm explaining. So the point here is that you've got a set of behaviours that are based on a certain predictive model that don't work at every scale when they have to.
Yeah, and then the theory was adjusted based on empirical evidence. What's wrong with
wasn't.
that?
It was completely superseded, and then that model doesn't work either.
So they're saying that Newtonian gravity no longer exists and it's been superseded.
Yes.
The original principles don't apply anymore.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So you're saying they haven't expanded the theory by saying it no longer applies to certain scales. They've just completely thrown it out, saying it doesn't work.
Well, no, what they tell you is that it works at the solar system scale, but not larger.
Right. So they obtained new information and adjusted.
It's not an addition or an expansion.
Yeah, that's called an ad hoc explanation to a failing theory.
Gravity was a force.
All right. So you're saying gravity doesn't work.
Well, I mean, Newtonian gravity, they tell you it doesn't exist at the universe scale.
Okay, so how would you explain gravity at our scale?
Well, if I drop something, it falls.
Yeah, what causes that?
I don't know, and neither do they.
Right, so something pulls objects towards the Earth when you drop them?
Not necessarily, no.
I dropped a balloon just now and it didn't get pulled down to the
unless it's a certain weight.
Well,
so
there's the incoming excuses, right? So not everything, right? That's the selectivity that we're talking.
What's important here is the conceptual framework you're working within, right? So you're conceptualizing that when you let go of something, it drops, okay? But there's air around that that's also rising, right? So is something dropping, or is there just a balance shift in the equilibrium of those two, the medium and the object?
Sorry, repeat that. I genuinely wasn't following. Just the very last bit of the question.
Right. Okay, so I pick up my keys and I drop them, right?
Yep.
So the keys fall down. What's happened to the air around the keys?
It's been displaced.
Well, yeah, but what's happened to that air?
Besides being displaced? I don't know.
When it's displaced, what happens?
It's been
when it's
moved aside.
displaced, what happens to it? Well, it's not been moved aside, it's been moved upwards because the key is now occupying the space where the air is. So that air
No,
is,
it can't move upwards directly into the key. It would move to the side and then up.
So it's moved upwards.
Or after being moved to the
Obviously.
side first.
Why is that relevant or important?
Why are you dismissing the fact that I said it got moved to the side? It sounds like you only want to acknowledge it as moving upwards. I don't know what your next point's going to be.
Bro. You're being
All right, so let's move to the side and then up. Keep going if that's not relevant.
At this point, I feel like you're just being obstructive just to waste everyone's
what was
time.
your point going to be about the air then? Go on, if it doesn't matter which
You're right,
direction it's
Crypto.
going.
We've been trying to reel him in for the last, I don't know.
Hold on, I want to hear this point.
No, you don't
Keep
really,
going.
actually.
Keep going. Just let him finish. Let him finish.
He's already explained it to you, but go. I'm gonna let him finish. But I don't need you to moderate the room, bro. You just need to need to listen better. That's all.
Ronnie, what were you going to say?
The air is less dense than keys.
Tasha, please, what was Ronnie going to say?
We have had to twist your arm to get you to open your ears this whole time.
Ronnie?
Don't pretend to be the nice guy here.
Air
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Apparently not. Can I go? Wonderful. So the point is that the keys are now taking the position where the air was, right? So the air has now moved up in relation to the keys. Via going around it, whatever, it's not relevant. The point is that you've got an interaction there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just seeing.
You're cutting out. I can't hear it.
And
Sorry, you cut out there.
conceptualizing. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Just give it a second, Rick. Take a deep breath. It'll be okay.
I'm just letting him know that I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah, just give it a second.
You've already been trained to think that because the floor's a ball and the floor is pulling things in, that when you let go of your keys, that is being pulled into the floor because the floor's a ball, right? But if you conceptualize it as there's actually an interaction there where the density within the medium means that when I drop the keys, they fall and the air is displaced upwards, then there's no reason to even consider that there is a downward bias. Right, because you're effectively saying there is a downwards bias. Because there is a downwards bias, the floor must be sucking it in because the floor's a ball. But these things don't make logical sense. You only think they make sense because you've been trained to think that way.
Can I talk or?
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah. So if that was true, why don't things go sideways and random directions? Why
they do?
always
You
go
just
the same
explained
direction?
the air went sideways.
The air went sideways because it was physically moved by something heavier and more dense.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually a circular reasoning, right? So if you do have an up and down gradient in reality, as we do, right? Let's just say that things went left and right instead. Well, then towards the left would be the floor. And towards the right would be the sky, and we would just be oriented 90 degrees to where we are now. So what you're actually asking is self-defeating. I'm surprised I have to explain that to you.
But you just said it's self-defeating because of a hypothetical that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's the point. You're bringing
Things
up
behave. No. I'm saying the fact that they don't behave that way is proof.
No. There's an up and down. And whatever that up and down would be, if it was oriented at 90 degrees to what it currently is, then we would also be oriented at 90 degrees and there would still be an up and down. I don't know why this is hard to understand.
And what does that prove?
Probably highlight really quickly that the double standard, because you would say that you just say like, well, something not happening can't be proof. But in the same way, you'd probably say that, well, I'm not floating right now. That's proof I'm being pulled down.
Right, yeah. Well, it's actually because you're not made of gas, so.
Yes, well, why does gas...
In one breath, you're telling Crypto that he can't say that, and then the next breath, that's what you think.
Well, I just don't understand. So saying if we flip things 90 degrees...
That's a weird hypothetical that we... Like, what would you then cash that in? Like, where are you going to deposit that hypothetical?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking Ronnie. Is his hypothetical.
The thing is that you brought this up, right? So I'm actually honouring your question, and now you're criticising the hypothetical that you introduced.
I said it doesn't happen. I didn't say what if it happened.
You said, why don't things move side to side? Or
sideways? I was saying it doesn't. Things don't move side to side or sideways.
Yeah, so that's your hypothetical that we're addressing, and now you're criticizing the hypothetical you introduced.
No, I'm saying your point is that it's not gravity acting on it, but rather the density of the air, which is the main. No, I guess. All right, sorry, then I misunderstood your point.
Well, I think what's happened is that you've had this discussion before, and
absolutely
then you've already decided. Okay, well, I don't know how you heard that, because that is a standard misconception of what we think. And so,
right, okay. So
for some reason, you've then put those words in my mouth that when I said them, right? So I'm trying to address you like an up and down. It doesn't matter what the orientation is, because if denser objects, and we don't know what the cause isn't density, okay? So that's the first thing to understand. Unless dense objects going up, objects are going to your left, well, guess where the floor would be? The floor would be to your left. And you, as a denser object in the air, would also be oriented in that way, so that your feet would be to the left and your head would be to the right. It would almost be as if it's exactly the same as it is now. So the hypothetical you're asking doesn't make any sense. So can we draw a line under the...
Yeah, we'll say that you're chopping up a little bit now, Crypto.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I got criticized when I did, so.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't hear any of that.
But in the same way, I think you're back now. If you wanted to, I heard most of it. It was just the last, like the last sentence or so that started chopping.
Oh, I just said that the hypothetical it was bringing up doesn't make sense, because, like, it's almost like you've set this world where there's an up and down, and then obviously the down you've set. I don't know why. It's actually such a retarded idea that I find it difficult to even explain why it's retarded. So
yeah, I know that feeling, Crypto. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like for the same reason that people will say like, why aren't I floating right now? It's like I would ask them, well, why would you? So when the same thing is like, well, why aren't things going left or right? It's like, well, why would they? So, weird hypothetical. I mean, the gap is you. I mean, if you've been around, I don't know how old you are, but usually when people like give you a gap, like the room, that pregnant pause, that's usually a good sign that, hey, I can proceed with my thoughts.
Yeah, usually, but then this Discord it doesn't seem to apply. Here we go.
I mean, it's you said common. You said everyone knows what gravity, right? Well, we just demonstrated that's not true. But I think everyone knows that when there's a silent space. That's your chance. Go for it.
All right. You be happy to keep going then?
Holy smokes. Jeez, dude. You're such a weasel, man. I know you're salty and whatever, but like, it'll be fine. I'm sure you'll come back. We'll have a much better discussion next time. You'll have some newfound respect. We'll have some respect for you for being here and all that stuff. Right now, you're just throwing a fit, man. I don't even know what's up or who triggered you or whatever, but being bathed in salt today, but it'll be all right.
Okay. All right. You done?
But Ricky, you're speaking.
So you keep doing that. You keep doing that.
Yeah, you keep just getting on these upset rants. I'm not upset.
I'm having a good time.
You sound very upset, dude.
Do I really?
You sound very triggered.
Really?
And it's just a discussion. I don't think anyone's going to change anyone's mind here.
I probably have the biggest smile on my face right now. So
I'm sure you do.
The fact that you're like, you done? Can I go? All right, come on.
I just don't know how the etiquette works here.
Ricky, I will tell you only one thing. You are here for 2 hours for sure. You still don't know why these people. But put that in mind. I only telling you this. You still don't know why these people think that Earth is flat.
Is it?
It's wrap it up for me. Give me a succinct explanation.
No, I told you this because I need to go, but I need to drive. But they will tell you if you ask good questions, you will get it there, and you will know what is going on. And that 3 question about globe, that we don't know why it's a globe. Now, if you move and think, but why they are saying it's flat, then you will go there, and then and then you can go on your own, and then you use your logic, and then you will find out. But good question. Don't go. Don't have an assumption about flat Earth or something. What you think that they. If you want to know, you need to ask good questions and see and think. This is the reason why they think. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Anyway, so
bro.
Sorry,
your words don't match your words just don't match your attitude.
What do you want me to do with that? I don't know what to do with that. He's telling me I need to listen, and that's fair enough. I get it.
Most people just hear the accent; they don't listen anyway. So don't worry.
No, I don't care about his accent. He's English probably his second language. He's doing great. Like
I heard actually
English better than most first English people I know. So
I know, I agree. Yeah, but people he'll say things like drop over distance, and people will go, "Well, what? I don't understand. I don't speak English." He's drop over distance. Well, what is that? I don't know.
That's stupid.
Well, you kind of do that
primarily with foreign people. I've not once dismissed his accent.
No. Like, when you said drop over distance, you're like, I don't know what that is.
What? Again, I haven't dismissed him for his accent. It's fine. I work with primarily Nepalese people.
No, I never said you did.
Accents. Yeah.
I do love a good productive conversation.
Kind of did that earlier, but anyway, let's move on. I'm not racist, so please don't paint me as racist.
I never imposed that. I never implied that, dude. You really have a listening problem, bro. I swear.
Okay.
The first thing I said to you was you got to clean the earwax out of your brain. It's caked up because you're really not good at listening.
Okay, this isn't productive.
You thought I just called you a racist. Like, what the hell?
All right.
What is going on, bro? Seriously. Pay attention, dude.
Okay. So going back to are you happy to keep talking about gravity? Can we do that?
Or? That sounds like loads of fun because that last conversation you had was fucking shit.
Well, I'm happy to change the topic, but I don't want to change the topic in case I get accused of trying to pivot, as you can say.
We'll talk about gravity.
I do have one question I tried to ask earlier, and it is a genuine question. It's not me trying to, gotcha. I genuinely want to know your perspective on this. So, again, I did try to bring it up earlier when I said you guys acknowledge that flat isn't a shape. It's more of a description. And you also stated that you're uncertain of what the shape is. You just know it's not a sphere, which I'm happy with. So, is there some sort of edge to the Earth, or does it just go on forever?
Okay, so not gravity then. The idea that you would reach the limitation of the Earth and fall off into something. Maybe it's better termed that, for all intents and purposes, because we're breathing gas pressure, we live within a contained system. So when you get to the limitation of that system, you'll reach the limitation of that system, the one that keeps the gas pressure in from dispersed into whatever else is beyond that. But it's no one knows, my friend.
But isn't that one of the things that would be quite easy to prove by simply going in one direction?
I get you. Yeah. If you keep going in any direction, you'd eventually, if the system was small enough, reach the limitation of that system and be able to exit it somehow. Earth's really big, though, mate, and we're kind of confined within our minds to think that the Earth is a ball, and the places that we would necessarily go to are fucking cold places. Why would you go there? Antarctica, for example. It's inhospitable to us anyway, so why are we fucking going there? And the majority of people are told that we're on a ball, so Antarctica is just a place that you go over and come back again. So, prisons within your mind, one of the reasons why. I get why you say, though, if you could go to the edge, what's at the edge? No one's been to the edge, mate. It's inaccessible to us. For whatever means. I haven't thought of getting there, but if I think of getting there, it's fucking far away. It's going to cost an awful lot of money. It's going to need an awful lot of permission. I'm probably not going to get the permission to fucking go there because of the Antarctic Treaty anyway. And I'll probably die along the way because it's a cold and hospitable environment if we are to take that narrative of what is actually the limits of the Earth, if there are indeed limits to the Earth, because you've only got two choices. It either goes on infinitely and doesn't stop, or it's finite and does stop.
So, but surely Antarctica would just account for one direction, right? Or are you saying it's like a ring that goes around the entire, like, confines us?
If you want to suggest that, yes, some people do have the idea that flat earthers would say that Antarctica is a ring of snow and ice and rock and land around the waters of the Earth of which we inhabit. Yeah, you might hear that, but that would just be the containers full of waters. It wouldn't be the containers of the Earth, because even an ice wall, quote unquote, or a shore that's above the waterline, you can walk up onto. So the expanse could go on for, I don't know, pull a number out your ass. It could go on finitely or infinitely, but that finite distance still might be too far away for you to get to. Again, I ain't been there. No one does. So it comes back down to really.
I mean, dude, the same question would kind of apply to if we just popped into your worldview, Rick. Like, has anyone been to that edge? I mean, obviously, when I believed it, obviously the answer is no. They have voyagers and things trying to explore, etc. But it's such a big space that no one has, quote unquote, been to the edge, if there even is one. Because I know some people say it's infinite or whatever. So to the same, I know it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around the Earth being very, very big, bigger than they say. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be billions and trillions and, whatever they say outer space is. But this place is quite big and hasn't been fully explored is the way I see it. So to ask me, well, where's the edge, bro? I mean, I don't know. I try to explore as much as I can. I've been around a couple different states in the U.S. and all that, but like haven't freely explored the whole Earth. And I don't know if that's even truly possible. I mean, I know a couple years ago, we could barely explore the grocery store to buy toilet paper. And now people are talking about, well, why don't you just go set sail, bro, and head one direction, see what happens.
Right. Just to clarify, you said coming into my world, why haven't we gone to the edge? Well, that would be because it's a sphere. There's no edge of a sphere.
No. I'm saying, bro, come on, dude. Come on, dude. I explained already. I'm not talking about the globe. I'm talking about all of your worldview. You don't think that all of it is just the globe. You think that the globe exists within a bigger space that has yet to have been explored. I said the Voyager. I already explained those things. This is why it's kind of frustrating talking to you, because we say things in English, are quite clear, and then you're just not hearing what we're saying. I don't know if you're doing it intentionally or not. You know what the Voyager is, right?
I
Voyager
think
1, Voyager 2?
So you never mentioned coming into my world and asking about the edge?
Bro, I don't want to have to explain it for the third time. You know what Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 is, right?
I didn't even hear the conversation. I don't know what edge CB's talking about. The edge of space.
Do you know what?
That's also a very easy answer, because we're physically not capable of it.
Rick, do you know?
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Okay, why would that be? Why don't you just head in one direction?
We don't have the technology to carry us that far, whereas we have the technology to travel indefinitely.
Would you accept that as an answer if I gave you? You don't know what's out there, so you can't say it's just snow or what's just out there in outer space either. So,
no one's ever reached a point where we can't go further on the planet.
I want to try to answer you, bro. Would you accept that as an answer that we don't have the technology to do so? Oh, you didn't even give you the answer. What the hell? Come on, bro. What is the tech? Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Let's go through the technology. Let's say we arrive to this shoreline that Jedi talked about, where there's just ice and snow, as you said.
Yep.
We've got dogs, planes. We can walk. Helicopters. What kind of technology do you think would we use?
Antarctic snow cruiser.
A snow cruiser. Okay, so
Antarctic snow cruiser specifically.
Oh,
which
sorry,
was designed for exploring.
Antarctic snow cruiser. Okay, cool. So I'm sure it's not an infinite size. It's got a limited size, right? So it would need things like fuel.
Food.
Yeah.
Do we have unlimited fuel?
Have we ever reached a point where we haven't been able to go any further? That's not an issue.
Oh, come on, mate. We're talking about limitations of technology in the cold and extreme.
You're saying that
Hold on. We're talking about a cold and extreme environment if we're to believe the narratives that we're told. No one's really going there, mate. This is only coming to your mind now, right? After sitting down and thinking about it and researching, you understand that, one, you need permission to go below the 60th parallel south. You need permission because of the Antarctic Treaty. A treaty exists between an awful lot of nations in the world for ecological reasons. We can't go down there because we'll destroy the fucking planet, right? Basically what it is. But they can go down there. They can go down there with scientific research stations, for example, but not us. So there is a door that, first of all, we've got to get through, and we need permission to go there. Also, with permission, we need money to go there. Right now, some people like to say, well, why can't you just get a boat and fucking just go? It's a big fucking place. Yeah, but radars exist and tracking systems exist and harbour authorities exist. But now we're also going to be talking about a lot of money because you're going to need specialist equipment that you just brought up to go and do it. This one piece of technology, the Antarctic cruise or whatever you said it was, this one piece of technology. All right, so that's not accessible to us. So what am I going to do in my garden shed?
Tags! What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.